Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Marcel Plays RCT. Today we will tackle the tantalizingly tranquil Trinity Islands. This scenario consists, unsurprisingly, of 3 islands connected by some path, and the goal is to get at least 750 guests and 600 park rating at the end of year 3. As usual, we'll start by running all the ads and charging a crap load for the park entrance, 40 bucks. After that, it's time for our first ride, a merry-go-round. I want to make this a very colorful park, but because I often fall back into the same patterns when coloring my rides, I need some inspiration from somewhere else. I'm going to use the color schemes of as many different LGBTQ pride flags as possible. The first will be the standard rainbow, made from flower beds in between the merry-go-round queue line and the main path. A theme park is nothing without a roller coaster, so let's build one in the form of a classic mini coaster. The main difference between Roller Coaster Tycoon 1's classic mini coaster and Roller Coaster Tycoon 2's junior coaster is that the classic mini has access to steep slopes. This can spice up your designs, but I want to keep it very gentle, so I won't be using those here. This ride will get one of my favorite color schemes for a roller coaster ever. The colors of the transgender flag will be used for the track and the supports, and the trains will have each individual car a different color so that they form a rainbow. The great thing about using these flags as inspiration, apart from supporting the community obviously, is that a lot of them just have lovely color schemes. While we are waiting for more interesting rides to be researched, we can already build a twist which will receive the pansexual color scheme. While naming it, we unlocked the Ferris wheel, and if you frequent my live streams, you know what that means. That's right, we're going to build rainbow ice cream stalls. In Roller Coaster Tycoon 1, you could actually change the color of the stripes on the back. I have no idea why this was removed in RCT 2, but I'm very happy that Open RCT 2 brought it back. We will, of course, also build a line of Ferris wheels, but it won't be rainbow colored this time. Instead, we'll use the colors of the lesbian flag. First 2 oranges, then a white in the middle, followed by 2 pinks. Ferris wheels really are the best ride to build these kinds of color schemes out of, and you can never really go wrong with building one. I would like to build another roller coaster, but we haven't researched a new one yet, so first let's build a log flume in the middle of the 3 islands. This big open space is perfect for a square-ish shaped log flume design. To make it more exciting, we'll add a reverser turntable, which reverses the boat so that now it's traveling backwards. Because we only have a single one of these turntables on the ride, the boats will alternate, starting the ride forwards and backwards, adding an extra dimension to the ride. I'm not particularly a fan of bright colors for the track and supports of the log flume, so the white, grey and black combined with purple boats of the asexual flag fits perfectly here. Now that we're done with the log flume, we have unlocked a second coaster type, the mini suspended coaster. Usually I would consider this the worst coaster type in the game, but it will actually do quite nicely here. The one thing that it is good for is being a small terrain coaster, and the smallest of the 3 islands is absolutely perfect for this. The main reason it's a terrible coaster type is that it loses speed incredibly quickly, but that won't be as much of an issue here, as in Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 it could have actual trains instead of just single cars. These are much heavier and maintain their speed much better. The color scheme of our mini-sus will be pink, green and blue, which represents the polysexual flag. Now that there's a ride here, we should also add some stalls on this island. Because we only start out with the ice cream stall, drink stall and the toilet, and I refuse to waste my time researching more stalls, our guests will have to survive on nothing but ice cream and soda. And because guests don't buy ice cream when it rains, a rainy day will cause mass starvation. A haunted house and some statues later, we already have a somewhat decent looking third island. It does still need a lot more though, so let's add a car ride on the side of it. It won't be anything special, but it does allow us to use yet another color scheme, this time the one of the non-binary flag. Instead of just using color schemes, we can also build the flags out of scenery, as we did earlier with the rainbow. To fill up this space on the middle of the third island, I will build the intersex flag, one of the few pride flags that is not just a bunch of differently colored horizontal stripes. Instead, it's a yellow background with a purple ring on it. The second island is still empty, so let's build a massive looping coaster there. While we are building this, I want to talk about something really cool. Do you all remember my childhood plushie Mouse, which I showed in my Leafy Lake episode? She was very worn out from years of abuse by my childhood self, but not anymore. My amazing stepsister Julia completely rejuvenated Mouse and now she looks very much alive again. She loved doing this so much that she actually started a little plushie doctor business. If you have a broken plushie that you want her to repair, you can go to instagram.com/JulesKnuffelziekenhuis and shoot her a DM to tell her about your plushie and get an indication of how much it would cost. She has already repaired 2 of mine and I couldn't be happier with the results. Alright, the looping coaster is now finished and it will get the color scheme of my favorite pride flag of all, the agender flag. There's just something about the grayscale combined with the green that I really like. The coolest thing about this coaster is the vertical loop around the station and another track. It must be so exciting to stand on the station boarding the train while the other train races past above your head. This island is still quite bare, so let's add some more rides and decorations. Since this is a water map, we can't not have a boat hire. Don't worry about this being built against the edge of the park, as guests on boats can actually cross the park border. Let's just hope that once they leave they also come back again. For the island itself I went with a fairly standard selection of trees that always looked good. I'm definitely no expert at scenery, but even I can make something nice with just a few yellow and pink trees. With the pirate ship we have researched yet another boat themed ride, so I'll put it right next to the boat hire. Just like the car ride, it will be in the colors of the non-binary flag, only because that allows me to call it a non-piracy ship. A merry-go-round and a Ferris wheel later, the time has arrived to build our next coaster in the form of the inverted coaster. The small middle section of the first island is still mostly empty, so it's the perfect place for a new ride. It won't be too big, but with a few inversions and the fact that it's an inverted coaster type, it should still attract some real thrill seekers. A big coaster type like this is perfect for a flag with 5 different colors, such as the gender fluid pride flag. Its name will be Blender, as with all the inversions it will blend your insides into a fluid. As I was about to save the game, I suddenly got a notification that one of the guests had drowned. This happened because I forgot to build the exit path for the inverted coaster, and unfortunately for that guest the exit is over water. Even when I'm not trying to, I still end up killing guests. I just can't help it. The area around the Ferris wheels could also use some more, so let's whip out the spinning wild mouse coaster and wrap it around. Having different colors for the outside of the track and the crossbeams often doesn't look so great on this coaster type, so we'll need a flag with fewer different colors. How about the bisexual flag? Its 3 different colors work very nicely on this coaster. After giving this coaster its colors, I suddenly realized that I had not lowered the price of the pirate ship that we built 15 minutes ago yet, so not a single guest has ridden it so far. You see, when you charge for the park entrance, guests only want to pay a quarter of what they would usually want to pay for the rides, meaning that a lot of default ticket prices are too high. In Rollercoaster Tycoon 1, rides will be free by default if you charge a park entry fee, but OpenRCT2 has not yet implemented that behavior. This has happened before to me in this park and it will definitely happen again. Back on the third island we still have some space left for more rides, and considering we just unlocked the Go-karts, it's not really a difficult choice picking a ride type to build here. It can go under the pathway and then all around the island. The mini suspended coaster is a little bit in the way, but there is just enough space to fit it in, and at the end we need to go over the car ride before returning to the station. Now that we're here anyway, we might as well put some scenery on the island in the form of some trees and bushes. Trees are always a good start, but it's the bushes that really tie it together when you do scenery like this. At the start of the scenario we built lesbian Ferris wheels, so it's only natural that now we build gay spiral slides. You don't see it very often, but there is actually a pride flag for just homosexual men, and it's quite unique, consisting of different shades of green and blue. It makes for a good looking row of spiral slides, especially on a water map where the colors really complement each other. Next to the slides is a little bit of space left for a second car ride. Due to the limited space, it was quite challenging to fit it in, and eventually I even had to go underground to get back to the station as the inverted coaster was in the way. This ride will get the uncommon color combination of green, white and lavender, representing the gender queer flag. The park is now fairly filled up with rides, but it still feels kind of incomplete to me. We need lots more little things to bind everything together, starting with a fountain with some path around it. Between the first and the second island there is still a good amount of space left, which is perfect for an observation tower. There are some pride flags that are really hard to accurately represent in Roller Coaster Tycoon, such as the polyamory flag with its yellow pie symbol. You'll have to just imagine that the yellow on the floor here is that symbol. It's the best I can do. At this point I remembered again that flower beds are great for flags, so I put a non-binary flag on the side of the hill of the looping coaster. And across from the Ferris wheels I built the first bi-gender flag in the park. These terraced gardens look really cool, and these flags inspire me to use some great color schemes I wouldn't normally have come up with myself. In the space between the second and third island I've built a little fourth island, which has just enough space to fit in the demi-gender flag. And on the other side of the second island I'll build another tiny island, this time with a bisexual flag. Another fountain on some bricks, a big tree with path around it, and a second rainbow flower bed flag later. The only thing left to do is build some coverings for the pathways in between the islands. The path from island 1 to island 3 will get these half full wooden walls with a tent roof. These wooden walls are my absolute favorite for these kinds of tunnels. They look like a proper wall while still providing the guests with a massive window to look through. The other two pathways will get a more solid roof, which includes my favorite roof piece of all, the pointy roof. Actually, there is one more thing to do. I thought the third island still looked a bit bare and it doesn't really have space for a terraced garden, so instead I added lots of small flower beds everywhere. These really brighten up the place and make it look a lot better and more lively. With the deadline rapidly approaching, let's take a look at the islands once more. This is Island 1. It has 3 roller coasters, a car ride, a twist, a merry-go-round and pride flag, Ferris wheels and spiral slides. Island 2 has a massive looping coaster, a Ferris wheel, observation tower, merry-go-round and pirate ship, and a nice boat hire for the peeps who want to cool off on the water. Island 3, as the smallest of the islands, has the lowest number of rides with only 4. A mini suspended coaster, a go-kart, a car ride and a haunted house. And finally, the log flume in the middle brings it all together. With that, we easily crushed the goal as we managed to get over 3,000 guests, more than 4 times the required amount. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Marcel Plays RCT. To see the previous episode where I built a massive pier in Bumbly Beach, click right here. Thank you all for watching and I will see you in the next video.